Previously on the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. A springboard clothesline right into each other. Bam, the way the bodies smacked against each other, crazy. Seth and Cody exchanged some words. Well, we get down to the nitty. Let's get down to the very end. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, February 4th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, no longer an honorary oos, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. It's good to have you here, fresh off the Royal Rumble. We got a nice little show for you today. As always, you can check me out on my socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and the 215 on Twitter. Still working on that Patreon. Please check out the coffee page as well. And as for today's show, well, it's very simple. We're going to take a look back at quite possibly the worst WWE pay-per-view ever. That would be December to Dismember 2006. And yes, the Extreme Elimination Chamber. God, it was just really, really awful. But for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. So in the way of news, not anything crazy, not anything super exciting, but there is always news. So the Royal Rumble, that in and of itself smashes another. They're these smashing records. They had they broke a gate record, and what else did they break? Viewership record. So they broke the all-time Rumble gate, which was up 135%. 7.7 million. That's it's pretty exciting. Nia Jax is not contracted by the WWE. It was a one-time appearance at the Royal Rumble. She is still under the alumni section, sitting right next to Neville. Go figure. An ex-WWE superstar has signed a full-time contract with Impact Wrestling. That will be the man formerly known as Fandango, now going by Dirty Dango. He has signed a deal with Impact Wrestling, whereas Kenny King has signed a new one-year deal with Impact, and he is getting a push right now. Raw viewership fallout from the Royal Rumble dropped. They pulled in 2.1 million with a .64 in the 18 to 49 demo. That is down the previous week from Raw 30, 2.34 with a .7 in the 18 to 49 demo. I mean, you can figure that was probably going to happen, just because, Raw 30 was an anniversary show. AEW finally has announced that they will be doing live events with an official press briefing. It's dubbed AEW House Rules, select weekends and markets across the United States, with the first ever AEW House Show being set on March 18th. So that's a little over a month away in Troy, Ohio. This is what they need. They need house shows. They need to get more people time, more people some run. And it'll be featuring AEW and Ring of Honor talent. This is nothing but good news. WWE has issued a statement. As some of you may not know, Lanny Poffo has passed away this past week. If you don't know who Lanny Poffo is, he's the genius Lanny Poffo, the younger brother of Macho Man Randy Savage. Lanny was only 68. Dynamite this past week down from the previous week. They pulled at 901,000 views with a .31 and 18 to 49 demo. The previous week did 1 million viewers with a .32 in the 18 to 49 demo. WWE have recorded some huge revenues from the quarter 4 in 2022. They saw about a revenue of $325 million with a 5% increase. The operating income was $62 million, and they were able to pull that off with a 22% decrease. So we'll see what happens now. We'll see what happens now that Triple H is in charge and he's been hiring people. We'll see how that revenue does with quarter number 1. I don't really focus on NXT that much anymore, but their contract with USA is running up this year. This was mentioned during the financial call. Will they get renewed? Will they move to the network? Will they move to Peacock? Who knows? AEW has a new hire. They have hired a new director of community engagement. That would be Caitlin Borden. She'll be focusing on youth programs, social change, human rights, as well as physical and mental health. She'll be collaborating as well with Mega Parek, who is the chief legal officer of AEW. Ring of Honor / AEW have finally set their TV tapings, which will be in Orlando. I'm assuming at the Orlando studios, where they also do the Dark tapings, which is the former home of Impact Wrestling, the quote-unquote Impact Zone. So it's good. Finally, Ring of Honor will have some TV tapings. Looks like this will lead into their next pay-per-view, which is this Supercard of Honor? I believe it's Supercard of Honor. But it's great to finally get some Ring of Honor back on our television. And AEW, lastly, isn't close to nailing down a streaming deal. I guess they're really going to wait on this Warner Brother Discovery merger to see what happens. Ring of Honor is going to keep their own little, their Honor Club, whereas AEW, right now they're just rolling with YouTube. But that's the news, and we shall be right back. So we have some fallout, obviously, from the Royal Rumble. So let's start with Monday Night Raw. This was an okay show. Actually, all the shows this week were okay. Some better than others. Monday Night Raw, we had our fallout follow-up from the Royal Rumble. Cody opens the show stating his goals and his journey, what he wants. And he did say that he wanted the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. That is such a dumb fucking name. I thought he was just going right after the WWE Championship, but I guess we were mistaken. Maybe we weren't. I don't know. He's interrupted by the Judgment Day, and Dom just completely trashes him when comparing wrestling families. So, guess Cody will have a nice little holdover feud with Dom and Finn, and they're using Finn as a speed bump just to get to Dom. Edge attacks the Judgment Day afterwards. I like it. I like just having all of this story mixed together. Seth defeated Chad Gable in the U.S. title qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. It was a good match. What do you expect? Io Sky defeated Candice LeRae. Rhea Ripley calls her shot against Charlotte. She says that she wants Charlotte, and that Charlotte is the peak, Charlotte's the top. Charlotte gets what she wants and is the established order, and Rhea wants to, break the establishment. She remembers losing the NXT Women's Championship to Charlotte Flair, and she wants Payback. I'm all for it. I thought we were going to get Rhea versus Bianca. That's the match that I wanted, and I wanted Asuka versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, but Rhea versus Charlotte, whatever. I'm hoping we don't get another LOL Charlotte win scenario. We're setting up the Seth Rollins and Logan Paul match for WrestleMania. Johnny Gargano defeated Baron Corbin in a U.S. title chamber qualifying match. MVP had the MVP lounge hosting Austin Theory, and there was some words. And MVP was kind of a tweener here, like he assaulted the fans, but he also insulted Theory. And it ends with Lashley accidentally spearing MVP. Adam Pearce has Miz face a returning Rick Boogs. Bayley and Becky have some words, and Bayley took some shots at Becky and Seth. Didn't think we'd get that personal, but here we are. They'll have their steel cage match next week. Mustafa Ali is leaning into his annoyance. This new character he's got going on. Bronson Reed squashed Dolph Ziggler to qualify for the chamber as well. And in the main event, Cody Rhodes defeated Finn Balor with a little bit of a distraction from Edge. It's good to see Cody wrestling. Get that ring rust out of here. Show gets the fist. Over on Dynamite, we had another solid show that pushes many storylines ahead. John Moxley defeated Hangman Page with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roller. This was a really good match, but the way it ended, it looks like there will be another match. The Acclaim win a squash, and the Guns bait Daddy Aston to get him a tag team title match next week. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Brian Cage in a solid match. And it looks like Brian Cage will be doing the jobs as he transitions over to Ring of Honor. Remember, he is 1/3 of the Ring of Honor Trios champions. Jericho Appreciation Society says that Ricky Starks will have to run a gauntlet if he wants to face Jericho again. So he's got to go through Daddy Magic and Cool Hand, and then Sami, and then Daniel Garcia, just to get the Jericho. I think that's the way we're going. Bryan Danielson defeated Timothy Thatcher in a nice catch-as-catch-can match. It's beautiful wrestling, just beautiful, technical, hard-hitting. Takeshita thwarted MJF from interfering in the match after there was a ref bump, and then they fought in the back as well. So Takeshita will be facing MJF next week in a World Championship Eliminator match. You need to have Takeshita win this match. You can have Takeshita win, have Danielson lose to MJF at Revolution, and then Takeshita gets the match against MJF but still lose. MJF gets the win back. Easy booking. Jade Cargill gets win number 50, defeating Red Velvet and retaining the TBS Championship. So now the storyline should be who's going to end her undefeated streak. Ruby Soho says she had nothing to do with Britt Baker being attacked earlier, and Britt doesn't believe her. And I'm like, listen, I don't care, Britt. I don't care. You're trash, you're scum, and I'll take pride when you get your ass beat. And in the main event, Samoa Joe defeated Darby Allin for the TNT Championship in a no disqualification match. This joint was crazy. Darby pulled out all the stops, and it just wasn't enough. He even exposed the ring. Man, but Wardlow made his return, and he'll get Joe. He got next. Over on Impact, another fine show. The Bullet Club defeated Kevin Knight and Kushida. Giselle Saw defeated Savannah Evans, and Saw says she's the Black Widow as she runs down everybody who's no longer part of Impact. That includes Tasha Steelz, Chelsea Green, and the Inspiration. We had a Kenny King spotlight. He's, saw that new contract, so he's going to get a nice little push. Crazy Steve had a spotlight match. Tommy Dream and the Bully Ray feud heats up with Bully saying some things, and then Mickey coming out to confront Bully. They actually fight. It's like, that's why I like Impact. They have no problem having men and women fight each other. They are equal opportunity. Everybody can get these hands. They fight a little until Tommy Dreamer makes the save. Killer Kelly and Taylor Wilde, like I predicted, will be a tag team, and they'll be the I guess the violent tag team opposite of the Death Dolls, and they will be the first to play with the death dolls. Kenny King defeated Johnny Swinger. Matt Cardona wants a piece of Joe Hendry. This feud is far from over, and the Design won an 8-man. Design and Sami Callihan won an 8-man tag match, defeating, if I remember this right, Josh Alexander, Yu Uemura, Rich Swann, and I can't remember the fourth guy. That's my fault, but it was a good show as usual. I mean, Impact puts on a solid show each and every week over on SmackDown. So we start with the Bloodline walk again. This is our fallout show from the Royal Rumble, and the Bloodline walks in with Kayla questioning, "Yo, where's Jay?" Roman ignores. "Where's Jay?" Asks Paul. Paul is like, "That was a hard question right there." So we'll see. They were smart because we won't hear from Roman, really hear from Roman until the end of the show. Braun Strowman and Ricochet defeated Imperium to get a tag team title shot. This is the finals of that tag team tournament. I hate when makeshift teams defeat bona fide teams that have been working together, but with the Usos being the tag team champions right now, no heel teams won't be doing heel versus heel matches. We had a NASCAR confrontation, which is weird and hokey, with the New Day, the Judgment Day, and Rey Mysterio. Dom was the best part here, as usual. Charlotte retains the Women's Championship against Sonya Deville. So we're back in the Bloodline's locker room, and no one can find Jay. They have not heard from, and Roman cracks, and he yells a little bit at Solo and Jimmy, and his cracks themselves are starting the show. They have him go look for Jimmy. Jimmy ain't in the building, dog. Natalya wins a fatal 4-way to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. This was a match because it followed that old formula of two people fight, and then one person rolls out of the ring, and then two more people fight in the ring. It's just bad. So Roman apologizes to Solo and Jimmy because he sees that, he can't lose these two guys either. And he keeps saying, "Where's your brother?" He's not saying, "Where's Jay?" He's saying, "Where's your brother?" Just pay attention to all of this. And then segment, Roman comes out by himself with him and Paul Heyman because he sent Solo and Jimmy away. Kind of butter them up. And he wants to talk about Cody, but now he's got to deal with Sami Zayn. So he talks about Sami Zayn, he sees greed, and Sami, wants it from him. More gaslighting by Roman Reigns. Sami attacks him and says he wants the championship, the world championship. Lays him out with a spear. Solo and Jimmy come out, attack Sami, and they're about to murder him with the chair spot. But Roman stops Solo and says, "Listen, you want these world title shots? I'll give it to you. You got to bring me Jay." Crazy. Best storyline in wrestling. Over on Rampage, the Elite retained against Ethan Page and Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy. This was for the Trios Championship. Swerve Strickland defeated Brian Pillman Jr. This looked good. Pillman had no backup, so no Griff Garrison, which was odd. Malachi Black is happy that he corrupted Eddie Kingston. Tony Storm and Saraya defeated the Renegade Twins. Gave them the NWO treatment after the match. Spray painted L on their backs. And Roosh defeated Christopher Daniels. Gives him a nice win before he faces Bryan Danielson next week. Our matches of the week, we got two, and they're both from Dynamite. Jon Moxley versus Hangman Page. You know what you're going to get from this. Actually, you know what? There's a third match. All three of the matches are from Dynamite. So Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page in this hard-hitting, just slugfest with the surprise W by Moxley. And our other two matches, one is Bryan Danielson versus Timothy Thatcher. Gosh, if your only exposure to Timothy Thatcher was when he was on NXT, check this out and then go watch him in Pro Wrestling Noah. And our other match of the week from Dynamite, the main event, Darby Allin defending the TNT Championship against Samoa Joe in a no disqualification match. Man, crazy. Now, star of the week, I'm going to give it to Kenny King. Man's moving up in the world. Remember he was on The Bachelorette? Remember that? I remember. That was a weekend review. We'll be right back. Just even thinking about this match makes my head hurt. Even talking about it makes my head hurt. December to dismember. This was the first pay-per-view under the ECW brand. The first and the last. There's been a lot said about this match that, well, we all should know, but why not recap it one more time? The match was headlined by the Extreme Elimination Chamber match for the ECW World Championship. Let's just start with the ECW. Let's just start, not these. Let's see where I'm bad. My head hurts now. Let's start with the Elimination Chamber. Let's give you a quick rundown of this match. It's a giant steel structure with 4 pods. It's like a dome. 2 men or women start, and then after a certain time interval passes, another person's released from the pod, unless at some point during the match, someone breaks the glass on the pod. Now, the original chambers were great. They looked brutal. But now they've really been watered down. They've been watered down a lot, actually. So the match has, yes, been watered down, but they used to be great. And you all know me. I'm Philadelphia. Born, bred. ECW is in my veins. And I was kind of excited. I was really enjoying the ECW brand. I really was. So seeing it revitalized, seeing it just brought back to life felt great. And an Extreme Elimination Chamber, that could work. Ladies and gentlemen, it did not work. Horrible. Now, the ECW brand did have some high quality talent. Who can ever forget Wrestling Machine, Perk, Kurt? Remember him? And some of, the other people introduced on that roster. Let's do roster by era. Hold on. I want to do ECW. Why can't I find it? Extreme Championship Wrestling. Submit. This was 2006. So we're gonna go to. And this event was held, obviously December. Duh. And the date was December 3rd. That was a Sunday. So it's not showing up on it's not showing up on my other site. So let's just do this. Bang, submit, ECW. There we go. So the ECW roster consisted of Boss Mahoney, Big Show, Bobby Lashley, CM Punk, Daivari, Danny Basham, Doug Basham, Elijah Burke, Harker Holly, Joey Styles, Kelly, Kevin Thorne, Matt Striker, Mike Knox, Nunzio, Paul Heyman, Rene Dupree, RVD, Sabu, Shannon Moore, Shelly Martinez, Stevie Richards, Sylvester Turkay, Taz, The Great Khali, The Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Tony Mamaluke, and Trinity. So a mix of ECW originals with some new people to flesh out the roster. So at this point, Kurt Angle's not here. Chavo's not here anymore. Kane's not here anymore. But there's a nice mix. The thing about the ECW brand was it slowly became just another WWE brand. Yeah. Instead of separating itself from SmackDown, from Raw, it was, in the beginning, it was great. It was like, okay, here's ECW, Paul Heyman's in charge, but Vince McMahon always held a grudge. And he couldn't leave well enough alone. Instead of just saying, hey, Paul, this is you, make this feuds, do your thing, I'm gonna step away. He couldn't. And that's ultimately why this failed. So shall we run down the card? I really don't want to. Actually, let's not even run down the card at first. Let's do this. What do other people think? Well, Simon Miller ran his retro ups and downs a couple years ago. And Simon Miller is a positive man. He is a positive Pete, as he likes to say. 1 up, 6 downs. And where did that up come from? The opening match, which we shall get to. And I got annoyed. I got really, really, really annoyed that something so great could be so bad. So it was not only a poor show, but an even worse ECW one, because if you like me remember ECW, you remember that every single match could just use weapons, and you can get extreme, and then things could be taken up a notch. Not here. The event wasn't ultra violent. It wasn't electrifying. It wasn't synonymous with ECW. And the worst thing about the show is that it featured very little ECW originals. I understand that you got to build a brand, but it needed to be treated like a requel. Having original characters there while bringing in new characters to move the program forward. But when so many of the original ECW guys are still alive at that point, you know what I mean, that can go, why not? So let's let's run down what's considered one of the worst WWE pay-per-views of all time. The opening match, the pre-show match was Stevie Richards taking on Rene Dupree. Stevie won. Stevie won. Now, the opening match went for 22 minutes, a little over 22 minutes. The Hardy Boys took on Eminem. Remember when I ran down the ECW roster? Did you hear me mention the Hardy Boys or Eminem? No, you did not. So why was this match featured on the card? Why? Like, and here's the thing, it was a great match. Not great, but you know, it's the Hardy Boys, it's Eminem. They do what they do. Second match on the card, Balls Mahoney versus Matt Striker in a Strikers Rules match. Balls Mahoney is an ECW original. So what is the Strikers Rule match? It's a match with no gouging of the eyes, no pulling of the hair, no maneuvers up the top rope, and most importantly, no foul language. Now Balls Mahoney won with a spine buster. Yeah. That's how he won. With a spine buster. Huh? Third match on the card, Elijah Burke and Sylvester Terkay versus the FBI. Why did this match happen? Why? So at some point during the match, you know, Elijah Burke and Terkay started doing what they did, you know, a muscle buster, and the fans started chanting TNA. Elijah Burke did a forward rush release, which is Jeff Jarrett's finisher, the stroke. So that didn't help because at the time, TNA was WWE's biggest rival. And then you got on a pay-per-view fans chanting TNA. The next match was between Shawn Daivari and Tommy Dreamer, with the Great Khali accompanying Daivari to the ring. And Daivari won with a surprise roll up. And that was it. And the Khali came out and gave a choke bomb to Tommy Dreamer. The next match was an intergender tag team match with Kevin Thorne and Ariel taking on Mike Knox and Test. And the less said about this, the better. No one's really good here, even though you all know I'm a huge Shelly Martinez Ariel fan. And it was standard. This had to deal with the whole Mike Knox being a bad boyfriend to Kelly Kelly, and she's got a crush on CM Punk. It was just bad. It's just. But out of all of that, nothing tops our main event. Nothing tops the Extreme Elimination Chamber. And the chamber featured Bobby Lashley, Big Show, Test, RVD, Hardcore Holly, and CM Punk. So, some people in there make sense, right? CM Punk, supposed to be the face of the brand, RVD, even Big Show and Bobby Lashley. Why in the blue hell was Hardcore Holly in this match? He was a WWE guy through and through and replaced Sabu. So, fans were chanting for RVD. Obviously, it's RVD, one of the faces of ECW. A face of the original ECW. CM Punk became the new face. He was an uppercomer, and fans saw, at that time how great he was going to be. Big Show's a WWE vet, so was Tess, but Tess kind of fit in with ECW with his rebrand, and Lashley just looked like everything that Vince McMahon jerks off to. Heyman wanted CM Punk to win the match to help elevate, because Paul Heyman is a wrestling genius. Vince wanted Lashley. So going into the match, Big Show was ECW champion, and he was a fine champion. He was okay. This is from former WWE writer Andrew Goldstein, who detailed the exchange between Vince and Paul. Paul was adamant, I'm quoting here, "We have to have Punk go over Big Show, put the ECW title on this guy, and let it ride." Vince, whether it was a good idea or not, because it came from Paul, said no. Big Show. I'm going to make this on my own. Paul, shut up. That's what Vince said to Paul. Big Show was on Heyman's side. He saw an opportunity to cash in on Punk's momentum, and we've seen time and again how WWE had failed CM Punk. See, Big Show didn't want to lose to Lashley. He really wanted to put over CM Punk, and Big Show got it. And Sabu's forced exit bothered him. Extreme Elimination Chamber, and you replace Sabu with Hardcore Holly. Not only that, CM Punk was the first guy eliminated. He was the first one eliminated. That shows you how petty Vince McMahon is. And then RVD and Punk and Holly and Test were all gone, and Big Show lost to Bobby Lashley. So the two most over guys in the match, CM Punk, Big Show, got nothing. So not only did the match suck, the event in and of itself sucked. And you can go down the list. You can check it all out. Just how bad this truly was. It was named the worst show of the year. The show only did 90,000 buys. At the time, the lowest in the history of the WWE until the network came along. ECW never got a brand exclusive shot after that. The brand was pretty much shut down. Became a punchline. And it's taken years upon years upon years for us to get that bad taste out of our mouth. Paul Heyman quit the next night. Paul Heyman quit. Tommy Dreamer and Stevie Richards wanted to as well. You know how today, we were all happy that Vince McMahon was gone, but at least no longer in charge of the storylines and creatives in the WWE, because he thinks he knows better and he's wrong. Yeah, he's wrong, and he was wrong then. Who can truly blame Paul Heyman for walking out and leaving? Who can truly blame Tommy Dreamer and Stevie Richards, ECW originals, from wanting to walk out? ECW December Dismember is a black eye, one of the many that the WWE has. And most of it can be attributed to Vince McMahon. The fact that you removed Sabu off of the show didn't make sense. And we're going back and looking at the roster. There's a lot of people missing. You got the, you have our ECW originals. You have Tommy Dreamer. You have Sandman. You have Nunzio, Tony Mamaluke, RVD, Sabu, Boss Mahoney. And yet, there's many missing. So when ECW shut down in 2001, the brand came only 5 years later. But see, here's the thing. Where was Rhino? Where was Super Crazy? Where was, I don't know, Nova, Raven? Dawn Marie quit because Dawn Marie got fired because you discriminated against her. Where was Justin Credible? Where was the queen of Extreme, Francine? Like, Vince McMahon did everything in his power to make sure that brand wouldn't work. And the thing is, he could never get out of his own way. And it just sucks, because there was something great there, and Vince McMahon, as usual, ruined it. So now we have a new chamber coming up. 2 of them, one for the women and one for the men. We'll see how that goes. But that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. You can hear it in my voice. I really do want to talk about that chamber. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. Next week, we'll be looking at Faction Warfare number 4. We'll figure out what factions I'll talk about then. You love some good factions, you know what I mean? As always, check out the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram. The 215 on Twitter. And as always, Xia Li, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart, and breaks my heart, Gigi Doe is no longer single. I thought I had a shot. And she's with Zachary Wentz. So I'm hurt. Gigi, come holla at me, baby. That's our show. Peace.